This is really an impossible video. This is Mazzy here, and welcome back. And these are my top 30 all-time personal favorite songs. That's a mouthful. This is a response to another video that a good friend of mine made. And if you don't know his channel, I'm sure you do, but if you don't, you should check him out. There's a link below. His name is Michael, 45 RPM audiophile. That's the key in his videos, because he emphasizes audiophile records, and he's got an amazing collection. He's in Stuttgart, Germany. We've done the Four Corners Together collaborative videos here, and he did a video of his top 20 all-time favorite songs. I wanted to respond to it and do mine, and of course, this is impossible. You cannot do it and honestly say these are your top 20 songs. I'm picking 30. So, and that's even hard. And that's 30 in the moment now, year's 2021. I'm about a decade older, a little over than a decade than Michael. So obviously songs we like affect where we are and who we are and how old we are. So a lot of these songs are older, like you may call them boomer songs, grown up in the 60s and 70s, some into the 80s and beyond. But I'm going to go through it now. I could not put these in any order. I tried and I thought, I made a few rules to myself, which I continued to break. I wasn't going to present any song, any two songs by any one artist, but I think I have one artist where I have two songs, three songs maybe. Well, you know who that is, obviously. These are amazing songs that affect me. I realized as I went through them, they're very melodic songs. My choices are extremely melodic. They're very personal. They're very romantic in many ways and very autobiographical and storytelling to the writer, most cases. But again, they're very heavy on melody, and someone might call that smooth and schmaltzy, as I like to use that term. It's just a great term. So let's go with this, and not in any order. The most obvious choice, and to me one of the best records ever made, and it's on every, people just love the song, or they've heard it so many times they don't want to ever hear it again. And it's the number one song ever played in the United Kingdom on jukeboxes, on radio, on Always, and that's Procol Harum's Wider Shade of Pale. What a magnificent anthem, what a magnificent song. Skip a Light Fantango, that great Matthew Fisher sort of Bach-esque opening, Gary Brooker's amazing vocals. It's just a wonderful record, a wonderful record. Now, I will say this, when you say the best song or the best record, there is a difference. If you follow the Grammys, for instance, there's a category for best song and best record. You could write a song, say like Yesterday, million versions of it. Excuse me. What's the best version? Is the song great on its own? In that case, probably. So take a song like A Day in the Life. Great, fantastic record. Is it a great song? Maybe it's kind of two songs really slapped together by John Lennon and Paul McCartney. But what makes it is the production, the arrangement, the recording of it, the singing, the instrumentation, and the magnificent orchestral crescendo. So there's a difference between song. I'm calling this song because that's what Michael did. But these particular records make this song. Cover versions of these songs, and a lot of them do have cover versions. Do they make them any better? Maybe, so I just want to say that right off the bat. So my next one is a record I just love, and it's a beautiful song, and it's from this album, and it's Fifth Dimension, 5D. It's not the hit. The hit obviously is 8 Miles High, which is an amazing record on its own. But the drone effect on 5D, it's kind of like raga rock, and it's just a really gorgeous piece of music. Beautiful writing, Fifth Dimension, 5D, on this great album, my favorite Birds album. Next, if you follow my channel, I've mentioned this song several times, and it's from the first Bee Gees album, and it's a song called Please Read Me. Gorgeous song. There's a great cover of it later, in I think around 1971, by the amazing Nino Simone. But the harmonies on this, it's like choir boys and great lyrics, great arrangements. First Bee Gees album, a little more pop psychedelia. Please Read Me from Bee Gees First. Next, an amazing song, and I got into it just because it's a great soul ballad, but also is, pretty much about my hometown. And that's Sitting on the Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding. Beautiful song. The arrangement's great, the whistling at the end, the ocean, seagull sounds. He was living for a while in Sausalito, California, which is right across the Golden Gate Bridge from San Francisco. Has the most outstanding view of San Francisco when the fog is lifted coming through the Golden Gate. So this is a great song. Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, Otis Redding. Even though the Stones didn't start out the Rolling Stones as great songwriters, all their blues covers and R&B covers, which is great. My favorite song in terms of the beauty of the song, of course they made great records Sympathy of the Devil is one of my favorite Stones records. But in terms of the song record combination I was trying to get to here, if that makes any sense, one of my favorites is Ruby Tuesday. The arrangements on that, the way Mick sings when his voice goes low, she came from, it's just amazing. Ruby Tuesday, this is on the American comp, Flowers, love this single. Another gorgeous song, and it's got sort of psychedelic pop flourishes, is Donovan's Where Your Love Like Heaven. I think Where Your Love Like Heaven, out of all the other songs, of course Sunshine Superman and Mellow Yellow is fun and snarky and quirky, but Where You Love Like Heaven is a gorgeous song, so gorgeous. Then the 60s is one of the first pop songs I remember hearing on a Yardley makeup commercial during that whole swinging 60s, late 60s, 66, 67 time. So Where You Love Like Heaven by Donovan. Okay, next I'm going to show this album by Buffalo Springfield because there's a song on here that's gorgeous. It's like their most psychedelic song. Some people, when I did a video on LA psychedelia, said, Buffalo Springfield, and they're not psychedelic. Oh, well, they've done some psychedelic pieces, including this great Neil Young song on side one, Expecting to Fly. The orchestration, the beautiful arrangements. I think the orchestration was by Jack Nitzsche, probably. When you get through the production and get through that beautiful arrangement, there's a wonderful song by Neil Young there. And I love that. Expecting to Fly from Buffalo Springfield again. Beautiful, beautiful record from 1967. One of the great songwriters in the late 70s throughout the 80s, great European, UK, British songwriters, is Elvis Costello, written a plethora of amazing songs. When it comes down to it, my favorite song of his is Allison. Allison, My Aim is True. It seems so simple, but you follow those lyrics. They're gorgeous. The arrangement is minimal. That opening guitar bit is just really gorgeous. Elvis Costello's Allison from his debut album, My Aim is True, a lyric from the great song Allison on his debut album. One of my favorite songwriters is Nick Cave. This is my favorite Nick Cave album, The Boatman's Call. This is one of his most personal albums. I think it's his most beautiful record, song-based beautiful. Now he's doing a lot of ethereal, beautiful work. Every song on this is great, but the song on here, Into My Arms, the opening song, is so beautiful. It's sexy, it's personal, it's romantic, it's spiritual. It's just a beautiful song, and the piano, the low piano keys just make it. So, Into My Arms by Nick Cave. I've said this album countlessly. I almost picked a different song by her, Cloud Busting, because I love Cloud Busting. But when all is said and done, I have to go back to Wuthering Heights from the first album. The first single, the first song I ever heard on my arrival into the UK for the very first time in 1978. March of 1978, I heard Wuthering Heights. Of course, the famous book, Wuthering Heights, one of my favorite old movies with Laurence Olivier, Wuthering Heights. Beautiful song. Based on the novel and the wonderful book by Kate Bush. Not the book by Kate Bush, but the song, Wuthering Heights by Kate Bush, and this is her debut album, The Kick Inside, 1978. Now, I almost picked another song with Kate Bush from this great album, Peter Gabriel's "So" is the wonderful song "Don't Give Up." It's a duet with Kate Bush and him. But the song I keep going back to, the song that I think is the secret song on this album. Although there was a great video produced, beautiful black and white video by the photographer and director Matt Mahern during MTV days. And the song is called Mercy Street. It's got this bell song. It's surreal. It's moody. It's has an ambient edge to it. Mercy Street from this album is one of the most beautiful recordings, pop recordings I have in my collection. So go listen to Mercy Street, put it on headphones, blast it, and just enjoy it. It's just you really feel that song, in my opinion. Beautiful song. Again, I realize I'm doing the moody songs a lot here. As I said, romantic, moody, melodic. Obviously, this great album, Astral Weeks Van Morrison album. And the song, to me, is Cypress Avenue. Almost 7 minutes, clocking in as. And it's just, the way he sings the song, the way it meanders for almost 7 minutes, just gorgeous. Cypress Avenue from Astral Weeks. One of America's greatest songwriters, in my opinion, is Randy Newman. I love this album, Sail Away. And for this, every song is great. I almost picked Memo to My Son because that's sort of a personal song. It's really beautiful. But I think Sail Away is a beautiful song on here. And it's pretty much about the slave trade and slavery in America. So it's an unlikely song for me to pick. But it's a gorgeous, gorgeous song. He's got his wit, his political writing is just spot on and direct, yet it is romantic in a weird historical way, if that makes any sense. Probably doesn't, but that's the way I'm saying it. But what a beautiful record. There's so many great songs on here I could have picked, but this is a video about my favorite songs, and Sail Away is just a great opener to this. Next is the song called Will, written by Lowell George, and I'm showing two versions of it because it's been covered by a lot of people. It first debuted on the first Little Feat album, and it's one of the great country truck driving songs. And I've been warped by the rain, driven by the snow. I'm drunk and dirty, don't you know, and I'm still willin'. I've been on the road late last night. I see my pretty Alice in every headlight. Alice, Dallas, Alice. I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari to Hatchapeep to Tamapaw, driven every kind of rig that's ever been made. I've driven the back roads so I wouldn't get weighed. If you give me weed, whites, and wine and show me a sign, and I'll be willing to be moving. Great song, but there's a lot of versions of it. But Linda Ronstadt's version on Heart Like a Wheel is just fantastic. She belts it in a different way. This is intimate. This is inside. This is outside. If there is that, but she has the dynamics where she belts it out when it needs to be, and she's quiet when she has to be. Also interesting. I think it's their next album after this. They did another version. They recut the same song again. So Willin' is such a great song. One of my all-time favorite country songs. Next is my favorite REM album, and this is Automatic for the People. Every song on this is great. And the song that I love on here is the beautiful, just a haunting and a piano-based song, Night Swimming. Michael Stipe's vocal on this and the great piano playing on here is just, it's gorgeous. It just gets you right here. At least it gets me right here. This is my personal video, so it gets me right here. Night Swimming on here. Of course, there's other great songs, but I'm not going to name them because this video is not about the album. But Night Swimming from REM's Automatic for the People. Graham Parsons, obviously lived way too not long enough, and one of my favorite songs by Graham Parsons is Hickory Wind. He first recorded that with the Byrds on Sweetheart of the Rodeo, but I'm doing this version right now, just his version. Beautiful, beautiful song, Hickory Wind. Another great kind of cowboy-esque song. I love it. Hickory Wind by Graham Parsons from, tragically, his final album came out posthumously, and that's Grievous Angel. I almost didn't pick a Grateful Dead record, but maybe it's just because I'm in the mood picking these songs, but in the country mood again from American Beauty, one of my all-time favorite Dead albums, is Friend of the Devil. The arrangement, it's just great with the, slide guitar, Jerry's great, steel guitar playing. Friend of the Devil, what a great song on here. And it's 3 minutes 20 seconds, which is pretty short for a Dead song. It's an efficient song. It's a great storytelling song. It's like a folk song. It's a great folk tale. Friend of the Devil, Grateful Dead, Jerry Garcia. This, in a way, is a patriotic song, but in a different way. And it's, to me, again, if Randy Newman's one of the great American songwriters, so is Paul Simon. An American tune on here. The way he sings that song it means something. I mean, as an American, and I'm not particularly a patriotic person, but there's something about that song that I identify with, and it's just really gorgeous. And I think I remember him playing it again after 9/11 when they had the New York show. I think he played that, as I recall. Many of the times I've been mistaken and many times confused. Yes, and often felt forsaken and certainly misused, but I'm all right, I'm just wearied to my bones. Still, you don't expect to be bright and bon vivant, so far away from home, so far away from home. There's so many great Paul Simon records. Maybe this is my favorite, depending on the mood I'm in. There's something true about it. I like the arrangements and the recording of it, but American Tune is a very wonderful song. One of my favorites, obviously, because it's in my video here. Another great personal song, obviously had a whole different meaning than it would to maybe you or I, especially me, from the Smiths, Morrissey and Johnny Marr. And it's probably the most beautiful song that they wrote, and it's Please, Please, Let Me Get What I Want. It's a gorgeous arrangement. It's almost very minimal in the production, and the lyrics are lovely, just truly lovely. The Smiths. Next, I'm picking a song from the second Bruce Springsteen album. Obviously a great songwriter, and as much as I thought Thunder Road's a great song, but the song that I really was attached to when I first heard it, and I didn't really know exactly where to find it because of the title of the song, I kept looking for the song Sandy, and even though it's in parentheses, the song is called 4th of July, Asbury Park, parentheses, Sandy. Sandy, that waitress I was seeing, lost her desire for me. I spoke with her last night. She said she won't set herself on fire for me anymore. We've all had a love lost, possibly, like that. But what a great, great song. The arrangement's beautiful. It's just a wonderful, wonderful song. Sandy, Bruce Springsteen. Leonard Cohen, obviously a great Canadian folk singer, songwriter, beautiful. I mean, his early record, I like every record he does. There's always something wonderful in the record. But the song on this, the song that really speaks to me that I chose is called If It Be Your Will, That I Speak No More, and My Voice Be Still, As It Was Before. I will speak no more. I shall abide until I'm spoken for. It will be your will. But you got to listen to the melody and how he uses that song. It's fantastic. It's, again, intimate. It's spiritual. Obviously, a lot of his songs are, in a way, he's, very much like Nick Cave in his songwriting. He writes about spirituality, sexuality, a lot of personal great things. But this is on Leonard Cohen's album, Various Positions, and it's a great song. There's a song on here that's always been very special to me. Obviously, I got turned on to him because of the song Your Song. That's not the song I'm picking. But the song on this, and I actually, in a way, I think I did like an imaginary mental countdown when I knew this song. And the song is called 60 Years On. The great Paul Buckmaster arrangement of string section on it. The whole, first, 30, 45 seconds is this great string arrangement. And it gets into this beautiful, beautiful songs. Who walked me down the church when I'm 60 years of age? When the Ragged Dog Gave Me Has Been 10 Years in the Grave. The great Bernie Taupin lyrics. I mean, not many people match his lyrics. Love this song. Of course, I remember in my mid-50s leading up to this, put this song on almost every mixtape. And of course, now that I'm past 60, I look back on this song, and it's interesting looking on the other side of it. But 60 years on, beautiful, beautiful song. I did pick a Neil Young song with Buffalo Springfield, but I would be remiss if I didn't pick After the Gold Rush, the title song After the Gold Rush. I think it's one of his best lyrics. Well, I dream I saw the knights in armor. Anyway, I don't need to quote every song, but listen to that, the way he sings it, the wonderful song After the Gold Rush on Neil Young's, my favorite Neil Young album. One of the great songwriters also, American songwriters, but more of the dark underbelly of LA, kind of the noir songwriters of popular music and rock music starting in the 70s mainly, and then obviously going into the next several decades, is Warren Zevon, a very favorite of mine. And I almost thought of the French Inhaler because at the end he says, "So long, Norman." And the one time I actually met Warren Zevon when he left, he said, "So long, Norman." And that's a lyric at the end of that song. But the song on here, I think, is just gorgeous in the arrangements and the harmonies and the LA. There's an LA feel to it that I remember, like old LA from the 70s. I know that's old LA, but late 60s, 70s, when I first started going to Los Angeles, there was a different feel of LA. There was this seedy side of it. There was, everyone wanting to break out, everyone, lost or trying to find themselves and trying to become a movie star, become a star. But the song on here is Desperados, Under the Eaves, a fantastic song. I was sitting in the Hollywood Hawaiian Hotel. I was sitting, staring at my empty coffee cup. I was thinking that the gypsy wasn't blind. All the salty margaritas in Los Angeles, I'm going to drink them up. And if California slides into the ocean like the mystics and statistics say it will, I believe this motel will be standing until I paid my bill. And then it goes on this great epic thing with J.D. Souther and Carl Wilson and Jackson Browne doing this brilliant harmony arrangement that builds up. Ends a perfect album, but that's a perfect song, Desperados, Under the Eaves. Going back to 60s pop music, pop psychedelia, and it's a great song by Rod Argent, Time of the Season from the Zombies. Just a great pop psychedelic harmony masterpiece. Love this song. Colin Blunstone's amazing vocal on it. So, Time of the Season from the great Odyssey and Oracle. There you go. One of the greatest British pop songs of all time, Waterloo Sunset. That, if the Beatles didn't exist, and if this was in order, this would be my number one pop song. I could easily say offhand, like, what's your favorite song ever? What pop song record? Waterloo Sunset. The guitar intro on it, the way that guitar chimes in, a gorgeous song, great lyrics, just a whole, this is the period when the Kinks really couldn't tour America because they got banned by the unions. So for about 4 years, they couldn't tour America. And really, Ray Davis really got entrenched in this whole, Britishism in a way, and would write about, British middle class, British culture, everything British, British, tea time British, fucking British all the time. But he was the guy to write about it. And Waterloo Sunset is amazing, amazing record. This is on Something Else by the Kinks. I just love this record. What a great album. Okay. Now, John Lennon. You know this guy. The obvious choice for a lot of people is Imagine. But the song that I want to, to me a beautiful song on here, is How. How, the guitar playing, the piano playing, the lyrics, it's a personal song. I mean, his first two albums are so personal and so beautiful. And, Paul McCartney is a great, pop balladeer and a great, writer of love songs. But John Lennon, obviously, is just as good. How, that song, How. I mean, there's so many songs I could have picked, but Again, it's not a competition, and this is not a ratings video, but it's just, right now, that song just means so much to me. How from John Lennon's Imagine. Now, my final three, I actually picked 3 Beatles songs. And how can you pick the best Beatles songs? These are the personal songs. As Michael said in his video, these are personal to him. These songs are personal to me. If anyone else jumps on this idea and this thread and makes videos with this music, their favorite songs, it's about what you like, not what is necessarily hip or top of the charts or unhip. Either way. I really try to be true to this. And the next song on here is another John Lennon ballad, It's Only Love. It's only love, that is all. Why do I feel the way I do? Oh my God. Young boys, I think most of you have felt that way at one point in your life. The way he sings, his vocal on that is so haunting. It's so beautiful. There's so many Beatles songs, right? We could have picked, but It's Only Love on the UK version of Help, the original version. Now, this next song, I'm picking an American album. I didn't want to pull singles here. It's on a comp later, but it was only released as a single in the UK originally until the Past Masters or hits albums, things like that. And to me, this song represents I love the vocals. I love John and Paul's vocals. And they kind of trade off and you can really hear it. And this seems to me, and I don't remember all the details of the songwriting, this is one of those songs that you really can hear the Paul side and the John side. I may be making this up or I'm not trying to, rewrite history, but to me, it's a true Beatle collaboration. The harmonium, like accordion organ type of playing in it, is stunning. It's just a perfect record, a perfect song, a perfect recording, and that's We Can Work It Out. We Can Work It Out. This is from Yesterday Today, 1960. This is a 66 comp, right? 66 comp that only came out in America. Of course, this is the Butcher cover. And anyway, a fantastic song. Love this song to pieces. We Can Work It Out. The Beatles from Yesterday and Today. That's how it came out in America after the 45. I just love that song. And lastly, a song I hinted to earlier. That, as I said, it might not be 2 great songs, but it's 1 great record. So this is where I broke my own rules and I chose a great song that is a great record. And to me, one of the great records ever made. Almost picked Strawberry Fields, but I've been showcasing that a lot. But that's A Day in the Life, the final track on Sgt. Pepper. The way, again, John's haunting vocal with that acoustic guitar. It's like a song you've never heard before. I read the news today, oh boy, about a lucky man who made the grade. And then Paul's middle, boppy part, but it works in this song, and the whole buildup of the orchestration from every instrument, going from their lowest register to the highest register in different speeds, in that great multi-piano ending bit. The great ending to an album, the great ending to a song, and the great ending to this video, Mazzy Loves You, and So Long.